Hello, friendly internet. Join me on another programming stream, and we're going to take a journey together into the fantastic land of premature optimization. I don't yet have my CI tests working, but I'm going to optimize my build process to be faster. So where I'm at right now is that I have my GitLab-ci builds going. It's failing on the testing here because I'm getting this input device not TTY. I'm going to deal with that later. And what I'm going to try to fix here is that I am building with Docker Compose here. Here you can see the build argument in this giant line of I don't know, shell script, whatever it is, shell command. And what it does is it spits this all out every single time. Like, here's a good example. On apt, yeah, so it's running apt update and apt install every single time. And it's not properly caching intermediate images like Docker normally does, because GitLab throws away the instance every stage. Every stage is a new EC2 instance or Google Cloud instance that they're running. And so when you go from build to test, you lose it if you don't commit to a registry and pull. But also, if you're just building it again fresh in another build step, it rebuilds from scratch again. And that takes like 4 minutes here, and that's too long. You get 400 minutes on the free tier of GitLab, and so that would mean I could just do like 100 builds per month if I want to build more than 3 times a day. I guess, 10 times a day? Ideally, I'd want this to be like under a minute so that I could commit something and like 2 minutes later see if my tests are passing or not. As this is, it's functional, but I want my builds to be super fast. My tests are better. Took 1:50 here to start up. Most of this is just getting up and running. That might take like 30 seconds, a minute maybe. And then login doesn't take any time. Up does take time though, because it goes through and it pulls all these images from my private registry on GitLab. If I ever say GitHub, just substitute for GitLab. And honestly, I guess one thing I can do here, just to see if my builds get farther at some point, is I can go to my build state or my test stage here. I'm just going to throw a /t for TTY. Let's just go Docker Compose, documentation, Docker Compose, and then I'm looking for I'm going to be looking for the specification. Docker Compose, release notes, getting started. I'm just going to search Compose here. Yeah. I want the Compose version 3 reference, and then make sure I'm on version 3 here, and then there's this cache from option. And so this would mean on my build tag, on my build tag, or my element, I guess, element of a YAML file, I'm going to go my Docker Compose build, and I have this, and what I want to do, I think I have, no, Let me think. I remember there was, I think I bookmarked it here. GitLab. I remember this guy had a fish on his blog post. Docker compose cache from, and just to say if I haven't said it before, cache from, when I'm building in my build stage each time, there's no cache whatsoever. So it has to start from scratch and it has to pull from Ubuntu. My base image is Ubuntu, so it has to pull from the Ubuntu package manager each time. Whereas in Docker, normally just every time you do a command, it creates an image and it layers the images. And then whatever's unchanged, if you're like multi-step process, it can just go, okay, you changed here, so everything up to here is the same. I'm not going to redo this, and I'm only going to redo this last part. And Docker normally does that if you're building over and over on the same system. But again, since these systems are ephemeral, thrown away, created just for my builds, that's not there. So this cache from option allows you to point to a container registry, and provided you used a few arguments, like I'm pretty sure this inline cache argument here, and you're using build kit. Note, I need to make sure Docker compose build kit is working. Actually, I know it is because my pipeline here looks like this. Yeah, these init versions, these are not on, if you're not using build kit, your build output doesn't look like this. Now this is Docker info. I could be wrong. I could be lying. Parallel is ignored. Okay, so parallel is, yeah, internal. Okay, I am using build kit. So 3 criteria: that you're using build kit, and then your build inline cache enabled. Build kit is set in my overall environment variables. Build inline cache is a build argument on my composed build. So I saw this was being ignored, so I'm just not going to worry about that. I'm only on one virtual CPU anyway, so. So let's just update the compose file first here. And the other thing I wanted to see was that if I am setting up this cache from, a list of images that the engine uses for cache resolution. I wonder if I can use, if I don't have to tag the image. Cache from no tag on image. I don't think this is the terminology I want, not no version. Pretty sure the tag is the full. I need to put Docker here. Cache from. I think this is the fish guy that I was talking about. Okay, so cache from. I guess he just listed it multiple times. I saw somebody else had a fancy way of doing it, but this is more explicit, so why not? What is the current branch tag? I need to look at Docker image tag. I need just to actually make sure I fully understand that. Create a tag target image, source image tag. So the tag is just what's after the colon there. Reference command line. This looks a little better. Docker tag. Yeah, I guess the reason why I wanted to look at this was just because, generally speaking, having a tag as main, master, latest is kind of like convention, but really like latest is just a random build. Like you could push anything as latest. Like you could push latest and then you could change your naming convention to be like a date format, and latest would be like super old. So it's not something you can actually trust. Okay, I am going to get out my documentational here and just try to implement this here. So I'm going to cache from, and what I want to cache from is what's currently in my container registry. So a list of images. I'm going to attempt to not put a tag on there and see if it breaks. CI registry image tag. So it would be, I'm building, so if my tag is always the same here, it's not always going to be, but I feel like it's actually, okay, so my tag is being set up here, CI commit ref slug. A couple builds ago, I dumped all of my CI variables to output, which is not recommended, but it's helpful for debugging here. I don't have any secrets in this file. Just digging through my more GitLab tuning, validating, push-pull works. Looks like I pushed a bunch of versions since then, so I'm not going to be able to find it easily. Okay, if it's not in these, then I give up. Oh, here we go. I am going to save, I'm going to bookmark this one. Actually, I'm just going to dump all this. Honestly, there might be something sensitive in here, but I think they mask everything that's super egregious. So it's the level of OPSEC I'm comfortable with. And I'm going to save this on my desktop of the VM just as a gitlab-ci variables.txt. Okay, so my slug. Commit ref slug. Okay. So yeah, that's the thing. This is always pushing to main, which is not good for parallel builds. So if I have two builds running at once and both trying to push to main, they could interfere with each other. My builds really won't make sense, because if I'm pushing to main and then multiple builds pull, I'm basically just writing race conditions into my code. So I think the commit SHA would be better as a tag. So it would pull from, what I can do is I can have my build stage of my pipeline use this, and it can pull in the testing as well. And then my release would use main or latest. So I also remember I have bookmarked a, I know there's not a lot of coding going on here, but you know, just swimming in documentation is half the battle here. Measure 1,000 times. Cut once. Not what I want. Let's just do, boop. Probably not this one either. Yeah, definitely not Terraform. DigitalOcean. It's specifically something with Docker Compose. It's like there's a GitLab Docker Compose. Yeah, I don't think I bookmarked it, so I'm just gonna have to Google this. GitLab Docker Compose. Oh, maybe this is just it. So, update GitLab using Docker Compose. Update pull. Actually, this isn't a compose thing. This is a tag thing. Install. Yeah, this is actually installing. I don't want to worry about that. I'm on the wrong page here. So I just want to search GitLab Docker push. I know there's a... Maybe it is just this container registry. My actual packages. Oh, this is it. This is it. Okay, I need to rename this bookmark to be like GitLab container registry Docker tags. So I'm just gonna look for the tags tag. Here we go. Image tag. CI commit ref slug. Okay, so your branch name, since it resolves to a branch name and your branch name contains forward slashes, it's safer to use the reference slug as the image tag. So really they're just saying make sure I don't have any slashes in there. And then the ref slug is main. And that's got to be just tied to my repo here because it's like the main. Yeah, it's main. Okay. So I don't know if I think I'm going way too deep here. I think I just got to keep it as is with main, and I don't know if parallel builds are enabled. Okay. At any rate, it's too deep of a rabbit hole. Time to pull myself up. Let's add the build commands here. So Fishman I keep. Okay. So each one of these is going to get a cache from under build. So that's one Django tag. Is that good? Because it's my environment variable, right? So actually my Docker compose has an image. So yeah, so tag needs to be wrapped. So this is just Copilot suggesting incorrect stuff. So I didn't close my... Okay, so the tag, the latest, let's do main as well. And then, gotta get my blanket set up because it's cold as the dickens. Oh. So I'm basically going to be copying and pasting this, but just substituting out the image name here. I just did this thing with Visual Studio. Okay, it went away. I had multiple cursors, like text editing cursors, which is like a really cool feature, but like it's really bad when you don't want it. Because you start typing, you're typing in literally 2 places at once. Oh, autocomplete. Thank you. I actually don't really think I need... Yeah, I really need caching most on DD client. I don't really need it on the database as much as or web server. Mainly because Django and DD client are actually doing apt, not actually apt package manager stuff, and you gotta download and install it, and that's really slow. So now I have these repos here. I have a registry, not a repo, and I have the main tags pushed, and Django has main and latest, probably because I pulled one of those from my local machine for debugging. So I have this working, and the other thing I want to change is look up docker run or docker execs teletype. So teletype tty allocate a pseudo tty. So it looks like, if I had to guess, I just need to throw a /t on here. This is one of those things I don't even know what... If you had to ask me to explain in depth here what's going on with this latest pipeline, the failure on the test. So what's happening is that load bulk channels is working. Manage.py test is not. And input device is not a TTY. So anything running exec needs that. And it goes name, so it's just after my runner exec. So exec /t /t /t. So I bring it up, load my seed channels, and then I do testing. To do, actually this needs to be a to do in my test.py. Load seed channels is a setup for the class. Yeah, because that should, the CI pipeline should be really basic. Speaking of which, I need to get rid of all these comments. Build, yeah, I'm not doing all this. Build, tag the output, use it. Okay, I can get rid of this. I was trying to split out Django because that was the most costly one to build as its own thing, but you can't really use like Docker build and Docker compose build. It's really all, it's kind of, get rid of these echoes. Docker compose and Docker are kind of parasitic towards each other, at least what I found. If you're doing it in compose, you just really don't want to be running just Docker by itself that often. Okay, so do I have any DD client stuff? I was debugging with just DD client just so my builds would go faster, but I could see if it was working. I don't need to pull here because it'll pull on the build step. I explained that. Get rid of the pull again. I don't think I need to RM because this is an ephemeral build environment. Okay, so then on a new one, I log in. I bring it up. This will take a bit. And only in my build am I actually doing my cache stuff. I run my unit test. I don't want to sleep. That's just burning server time. And okay, I think this is good enough to commit. So I got that fixed with my builds. I also need to clean up. I really need to clean up my base compose here. Just throw to do here. Clean up all these comments. Okay. Test with cache from. Guess actually make sure that's my. Yeah. In compose. Sync. And then shortly I should see a new build start off here. I wonder if there's any other, oh, I think about it. Exec, get a teletype. I guess the TTY would just be to echo the output. I also saw an error about in my build parallel. There's like a, while I'm waiting here, parallels ignores when Docker CLI build is 1. Faster builds thanks to build kit. This is more just build kit stuff. Did I set that? I did not. So it's either set by the environment or because I'm throwing a... where's my build kit? Yeah, build kit 1. Let's check on my running build here. So I could probably get rid of this Docker info. Now I like it just as a something got messed up. Like we'll just need to validate our environment, right? Not if there's anything. Native overlay to. Yeah, just helpful for debug if you get into weird. Probably should take out this config But again, it's nice, but all this stuff is, they accidentally committed a secret. Yeah, if you commit a secret, it's already, don't need to think about that. Okay, so from Docker, Ubuntu, so we're getting to Ubuntu. Pull access was denied, may require authorization. Does not exist. I Docker login. And my build, I am not qualifying this correctly. So it does need to be a CI registry image / on each one. So I'm just going to replace this. I think this will work. Because my compose is CI registry image. I'm going to, I'll let it build. This will at least tell me if my tests are going to work. So on my build, I need to equals registry image. No, I messed it up. Replace. That looks good. So I always need to make sure I have this whenever I'm referencing. It'd almost be easier just to put Django. Yeah, let's just do that really quick. I want to make this an environment variable. I'm going to do that for everything here. Web server. Yeah, web server. And DD client. And then I'm going to replace this with Django. Yeah, it's way cleaner. Same thing for DB here. DD client. And web server. I did not get DB client right. I should probably make this bigger for the readers at home. Web server. Cool. Okay, so that is cleaned up. My environment variables. I don't think I have any other registry image variables hanging out. And then also if I want to rename web server, I can, I don't know, this probably was not needed, but it makes me feel better. How are my tests doing? Whoa. Never gotten this far. So the TTY thing was the issue. So what's the rest of my pipeline looking like? I've never gotten this far. I test, I release. So latest, I'm pushing as latest. And then I have it to do as deploy here. So what is release looking like? Push. Wow, this is my first completed pipeline. I mean, I don't have any useful unit tests whatsoever, but pretty cool. So job succeeded. 47 seconds. So yeah, like this is... Get submodules, deploy application. This is just a straight to do. This does nothing. So it takes... Is there any value to combining stages? Every stage I combine saves a minute, 45 seconds. Got a spam bot in chat. That's new. So everything is working except for the build kit, and that is an issue of I'm getting tired. So building Django. Importing cache manifest. Wait, what? Pull denied. So how often do I see this message? Database, web server, DD client. Latest main. So in my registry, I have, oh, it's Nginx, not web server. DD client, Postgres, Django. I guess this is a benefit of messing up my names now. Actually, this was worth it. Nginx, Postgres, DD client. But it didn't get DD client either. Web server does not exist. Okay, that makes sense. DD client. Yeah, so this is all a DD client. May require authorization. Authorization failed. Pull access denied. But I'm able to push. So DD client. Oh, yeah, actually two things there. Yeah, I don't have the I've already fixed this. But why Django? Main not found. Importing cache manifest from Django latest. So why could it get... Oh. And why is my... No, what's my push? Push DB, push refers to boop. Push refers to repo. Push web server, Nginx. took 4 minutes. Apt. No install recommends. So yeah, it didn't cache. So what was the total time on that pipeline? 7 minutes 40 seconds. I mean, I want to get this down to like 3 minutes. I have 4 stages. I'm just going to comment out the last stage here. I don't have a deploy stage really. Okay, and build web server DD client database Django. Yeah, let's just I really should keep this consistent. And then db postgres and postgres. Okay, so let's just do cache from with registry image and variable and let's see how it goes. This is my first, how many builds have I done? 79. So I found 78 ways on how not to build a pipeline. God, that was my first one. I've been doing this for a while. Oh, 2 weeks. I've been working on this for 2 weeks, and this is my first actual successful pipeline build. Cool. Cool. I just closed everything. Chrome, you can Control Shift T, but Firefox, you have to Control Shift N. I don't have history innate. I do. Weird. Okay, I don't think I lost too much. I don't think I really had much open at all. Failed immediately. Yikes. Nginx, not valid. No uppercase? Is there Nginx? Service Nginx contains uppercase. Nginx Postgres, but I actually named it wait for God, how much did I reference that? God, it's everywhere. Okay, so we're gonna unroll that. Yikes. Nginx Postgres, so this has to be DB. And web server. Okay, well, that's unfortunate, but it's not like it's super confusing. Just slightly more mental load. Fix Docker service name. Hey, at least it failed fast. And this is why you have a pipeline too, because if you break something, you know within like a minute what you fucked up. And you don't have to go and build the stuff yourself. Although you could say I'm kind of building myself after spending 2 weeks configuring this. So you get 6 hours of build time on the free tier. And per month, I think. And my average pipeline has been building 5 minutes, a minute, 70. I could reasonably burn through my 1 month here if I don't get this sorted. Oh, cached. This looks good. So we're building with like 4 gigs of memory and load ignore. I need to revisit my Docker ignores. There's going to be another to-do here. Actually, I don't think I need to clean up Docker ignores. Now that I think about it, I think I've actually just ripped my project. So my project structure, this is collapse all. I have my everything living in this folder. I have bind mounts for hosting files. Not hosting, I guess. Yeah, these are where, let's ignore bind for now. Main service is DD client, Django, Nginx, Postgres, YouTube API. So this is AWS, and this is actually built separately, but it's still part of the same repo. PyCluster, I don't think I'm ever actually going to use this. So this is probably safe to delete. This is actually really helpful though, still. I'm going to put this in to-do. Because I'm not actually building this anytime soon, but if I ever want to put this on Kubernetes, this would be a step to take. If I ever put this on Kubernetes, I should fork this. Because there's so much work specific to compose here, I don't want to basically lose it or have to be digging through old version histories. Let's see where we're at. So it didn't find latest, but it did find something here. 252 bytes, and everything's cached. Oh, so Postgres, and then the Postgres latest. I don't know why that's coming up again, but oh well. Low definition from Python. Importing cache manifest, working. Everything's cached, and I cut the build time in half. Because everything's cached. Wow, that's way faster. We went from like 5 minutes, 4 minutes to like a minute, 25. And the thing is, as this gets more and more complicated, it's going to pay off massively, hugely. So much. Tests are going to take a while, I think. 2 minutes. So 5 minutes potentially here. So it was my biggest 7 minutes, 6 minutes. 7-minute run is what I'm starting off with here. So probably be cut in half to like 4. So it's a 5-minute pipeline. This is really good. This is what I was working towards. And this is just another minute to start up. So what was the timeline on this? 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, under 5 or at 5. Under 5. So that's done. Yep, cool. So really I did all that work and all I did was shave off 2 or 3 minutes of build time. Let's call it 3 minutes. I think that's actually, it's not worth it and that's actually going to pay off anytime soon, but it is worth it because I've learned a lot here. Okay, I think I've set out everything I wanted to do here. Now I need to work on my test cases. And this one I can do vocally. So I don't need to worry about anything in here now because I got my build working, got my GitLab specific. I do need this dev. So let's just do a test here. Docker compose f docker.y f docker dot let's also just build it too, why not? Dev f docker build up d and latest main. Okay, so this is actually something I'm going to need to fix here. In addition to, I should have just copied this build command out, basically. I need this build inline cache thing as well. It's going to error again, but I just want to get it into my history. Build. Boom. This is actually a good stopping point, I think. I got my build working. I'm going to continue to work on this a bit. I'm going to clean up this tag thing. This is just a syntax on my build part where I can like specify multiple in this tag area.